These are the brand new Erbauer V2 tools, and you can only buy them in B&Q and Screwfix. Last year on the channel I spent my own money testing Erbauer, and that video blew up with hundreds of thousands of views. Now V2 has landed and loads of you are asking, are they finally ready to compete with the big boys? I've bought 10 of Erbauer's V2 tool range, their core range, with my own money. No sponsorship fees, no free tools, and no sugarcoating it. Should you buy them or should you avoid them? We're going to find out. We're going to start with the new Erbauer Elite combi drill, because a combi drill kit with the batteries is probably the first place that you guys will start if you're investing in a tool platform. And of course you can buy this as a body only tool, but this one comes with two 5Ah batteries and a charger. Each of our tools today are going to get some tough tests, starting with the drill. What we're going to do is put them up against some of the big brand tools, and that is not as a comparison because these are a lot more money, just as a benchmark. If the Erbauer can come anywhere near Makita's 40 volt, you know they're a safe bet. So it's nice and ergonomical. You can often tell a cheap drill by the chuck. Chuck's nice actually, metal gearbox. That's actually nice and positive, I like that. You've got three typical functions: hammer, screw and drill, and some nice clutch options on there as well as your typical speed adjustment. It's got a little work light on the front, it's nicely weighted. Let's give it a test, but we're not going to be going easy on it. We've got a 32mm spade bit. We're going to see how easily it'll pass through 4 inches of C24 timber. Because of the amount of material it's got to displace, this is a fairly tough test for any drill. That has gone through there with ease. Now, a lot of you will be wondering, am I going to tell you if they're rubbish? Absolutely. I bought these with my own money and I spent over £900 on this 10-piece kit. So, yes, I'm going to tell you if they're rubbish. And that, so far, isn't. It's not hot. It did that with ease. Didn't jam up. I like it. Let's see what the Makita can do just as a benchmark and see if you can save yourself some money and grab one of these. Now, of course, the Makita goes through easier. It's got a slightly higher RPM and slightly more torque. You'd expect it though. But for a DIY tool or even light trade work, this thing made light work of a pretty tough task. So straight off the bat, I'm impressed. The Brushless V2 combi drill, in my opinion, is a buy. If you want to save some money, it's a good drill. Let's move on to tool number 2. And that is their 165mm brushless circular saw. Now, those of you that watched my V1 test will know that I hated the first version of this. It was the worst tool that Erbauer ever released. The blade was on the wrong side, it felt cheap, it was rubbish. Now this one is £85 without a battery, so it's really, really cheap, but straight away it does feel a little bit better. The tool is much better suited to a right-handed user than the V1 version. You can see where the blade's going to fall, you can see where it's going to cut, and the blade position overall makes it nice and easy to use with a speed square. I'm not a fan of that dust extractor location though. I think that's likely to get in the way when we cut, but we will find out. Now the rest of the tool is really positive to use. I like the depth adjustment and the angle adjustment, and everything just feels really good quality. So let's put it through its paces. Let's cut some sheet material, see what the power's like, see what the accuracy's like, and see what that dust control is like in a slightly strange location. So the extraction itself does work well. We haven't got a lot of dust come out of there, so the port is doing its job. But there's one problem. That location, to me, makes the tool unbalanced. So I don't like the location of the port. If we look at the Makita equivalent, the port comes out the back. It doesn't get in the way. It's more ergonomical. It's got a light on it. It's a nice tool. The power's good. The extraction does work well, and it's a really accurate cut. Let's put it through something a little bit thicker. One of the most common ways I use my circular saw is in conjunction with a speed square to get straight and accurate cuts on timber, and this saw is up to the task. This is 1,000 times better than the V1 version. Would I give it a pass? For me, I don't like the port, so it's a maybe. But for you guys, it certainly might be a pass. Jigsaw next, 80 quid. Can you really go wrong for 80 quid? I mean, again, it feels nice. First of all, what are the ergonomics like? Because that is a huge part of any jigsaw. It's nicely weighted. It does feel like a quality tool. You've got a blower function on there. You've got a light on there, the trigger's nice. Pendulum function, a guard to stop scratching.
So it all seemed well until we got into the test, where I noticed a small annoyance. It's got a slow start feature. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute, but the rest of the cut worked really well. It was a nice smooth cut, it was good in straight lines, had plenty of power, and then the ergonomics allowed me to turn that corner nice and easily as well. So no real issues with the cutting itself.
The pendulum works well, it's ergonomical, and it's got plenty of power. It's a nice tool overall, but there's one major flaw for me personally, and that is when you first start the tool, it's got this slow start function, and then it kicks into power as it starts to move through the piece of timber. So I'll start cutting at full speed, I'll squeeze the trigger fully, and you'll see it's going to ramp up on its own. And for me, it's really annoying. I don't know if you can turn it off, I can't find a way, but it's irritating. Some of you might love that feature. If you can overlook it, 80 quid, not a bad tool. Might be, it's a maybe for me, but for you guys, I could see why it'd be a pass because it is a decent tool overall. Guys, quick one. If you're into tools, check out Ultimate Tool Competitions. Real prizes and winners every single week. No nonsense. I run it myself. And at the minute, we've got 8 incredible kits, including an Erbauer kit that you guys could win instantly. I'll leave a link in the description. Go and check it out. Right, back to the tools. Tool number 4. Now we're going to do something really cool. We're going to stress test their Elite V2 brushless impact driver. We're going to test speed, torque and power. Really the ultimate test for this tool. For £80, can it compete with the Makita? You'd expect the Makita to win, but if it can come anywhere close, it's doing well. We'll talk about this thing after we've tested it, but both tools are on maximum power. Let's see if the Erbauer stands a chance. This is a lot of C24 timber. I mean, I'm astonished. Let's be honest, this is probably double the money, and the Erbauer 18 volt just beat a 40 volt impact driver. Makes me wonder why I spent so much money on the Makita. I'm gonna go away and cry. But let's talk about it. Ergonomical in the hand, more compact than the Makita. It's got a light on it, sounds nice, feels nice. One touch bit change. I feel like I want the Makita to win because I own the Makita, but the Erbauer just smashed the Makita out of the park. So yeah, I'm a little bit shocked, I must admit, and I think this one is definitely a pass. You should definitely add this one to your kit. So far out of all the picks, this is a hard one to beat. That's the biggest shock so far. Let's see what other things Erbauer have got up their sleeve. Now our 5th tool is the 125mm compact sander. Again, the brushless V2 version. The last version I didn't like very much because of the place where they had the controls for the sander, because I find you hit them. This one, they've done the same. The controls are on the side. I don't like that personally. I don't like the sound of the motor. I don't really like the way it feels in the hand, but then it has got a 5 amp hour battery on it, makes it feel a little bit strangely weighted. You can change the speed from 1 to 6. Of course you can hook it up to an extractor, so we'll do that, but let's give it a test, see what it's like.
Now really, of course, we're just looking for a good outcome with this rough bit of C24 timber, but straight away there is quite a lot of vibration coming back through the tool, which is a little bit annoying, but the finish is looking pretty good.
So it's made a decent finish on the end of that bit of wood. The extraction's good, you can't fault it. It's got plenty of power. I just don't like the ergonomics. For me, it's probably a bit of a maybe, borderline pass. I think you guys would benefit more if I said it was a pass, because it's probably a personal preference with the ergonomics. The battery definitely doesn't help. You'd probably want a smaller battery on it. Yeah, we'll go with a pass on that. is pretty good for $69.99. So that's 5 out of our 10 Erbauer V2 tools, and they're doing really well so far. There's a few big surprises in there. That impact driver, that is a real standout. The combi's good as well. I'd say they're the 2 best tools that we've tested so far. But for me, there's a few weird little quirks with a couple of the tools, especially the jigsaw with a slow start thing. I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to innovate, but it's not for me. But let's see what the next 5 have got to bring. Let's get straight into number 5, but before we do, just make sure you've hit that subscribe button for me. It helps the channel out, helps us grow. I can bring you better videos, and hit like, because that will let this video get out there and more people get to see how they can save money on some really good tools. Right, number 5.
Now number 6 is the multi-tool, and I think every DIYer should add a multi-tool of some description to their toolkit.
Straight away you can see they're trying to be different again, they're trying to innovate. The battery location on the back there, you should always have good control of the head. And I think it makes it a little bit unbalanced. I'm not sure if I like it, but then you've got the same thing with the Makita, the 40 volt version. Okay, the Makita's a little bit better balanced. You can see the Erbauer does try and tip back on you. Not sure I like the feel of it, but it's not a bad thing. It's just personal preference. The other thing is I like it when they stand like that. Again, personal preference, but the Erbauer's not going to do that. That said, there's some nice things about it. The grip's nice. It's got a 1 to 6 speed adjustment on it. This tool's a star lock tool. The V1 wasn't. So you're going to open that up like that. You're then going to push and unlock the pin, and you get that quick release star lock blade system. The bad thing about star lock blades, they are more money. But let's get one in the tool, see what it's like to use. Listen to the Makita. It actually sounds like a fan. And there's 0 vibration. Let's see how Erbauer have handled them 2 problems. They're the main problems with a multi-tool.
Now, as we've got a nail embedded wood blade in there, I thought why not pop a nail in there and make the multi-tool work that little bit harder. Straight away, the control and precision of cut, they are really good, but they're not handling that vibration and the sound issues that a lot of multi-tools face. They're not handling those very well at all. You've still got a lot of vibration there. You can see I'm struggling to actually control the blade just because of the sheer amount of vibration coming back through the handle.
So for $79.99, you get bags of performance, but it comes at a cost. It is loud, really loud, and it vibrates the hell out of your arm. So you ain't gonna want to use it for too long. Otherwise, for $79.99, I would go with it.
Because it is a good tool for the money.
The next one, another tool for $79.99. I can see a bit of a pattern on the Erbauer stuff here. This is the Reciprocating saw. If we spin it around, you can see straight away, it's got a decent rafter hook. I like that on any tool. It's got a brushless motor again, like all the V2 stuff. And it looks like it's got pendulum function. We'll have to test that. It looks like it's got a light as well. Pendulum function. Have you guys ever seen that on a recip saw? Let me know in the comments, because I haven't. I've got a DeWalt one. I can't be bothered to get it out. It's at the back of the workshop. But ultimately, we want to know the power. We want to know how powerful this thing is, because we put recip saws through some rough tasks, but I've never seen a pendulum on there. So let me know in the comments, has yours got pendulum feature? Brand new Nesdale blade for our test. So that is annoying. The blade release is on a little collar, and you can't get your fingers in there to actually turn it to get your blade in. This just flips back. It's awful. It looks like we've got to put the battery in to bring the tool forward to actually get to the collar properly, because it's quite stiff, and then we can get the blade in. Now the blade's locked in, but I wouldn't exactly call that safe. The rest of this thing better be good. There's that pendulum action. I like that. Let's see if it's powerful.
Which it is. Now fortunately I had no issues here with the ergonomics of the tool, the accuracy of it, or the power. It goes through this 6x2, no trouble at all. It's a nice to use tool.
For the money, it is a very, very powerful tool, and it's got some good features, but I'm not a fan of the way you have to change the blade, so I probably wouldn't add this one to my toolkit. So we've got 3 more tools to go, a couple of big ones at the end, so don't go anywhere. But who's up for trying the planer next?
The planer's just $89.99, and for that it's got some really nice features.
Things that you would find on a pretty high-end brand. We've got switchable dust extraction, so we can have it coming out of either side. So if we're working this way, I don't want the dust coming towards me, I want it going away from me. I can switch the direction. Erbauer are clearly innovating again. Nice little hidden tool port, I like that. We've got adjustments of 0.25 increments. That's always good. Some tools you'll find they go up by 0.5 millimeter, but this is 0.25 of a millimeter. I think it's time we put it to the test and see how it performs. My extractor hose is binding up on the bench, so this is a good example. We can switch the dust to come out this side. I did want it going that way, but the hose is causing me problems. So we're going to switch the direction. We'll extract out of this side.
And straight away I got on with this tool. I just found it really nice to use. We started off at 0.5 of a millimeter and it did it with ease, no issues at all. We then ramped up the depth a little bit to the 2 millimeter setting, so that is quite a deep cut for a planer, and again, nice precision, good dust extraction, and a really nice tool to use.
I can't really complain. It's got all the features. I like that switchable dust port. That's what a lot of the bigger brands have got as well, things like the Makita. When we put it up to 2 millimeters, it's gone through there no problem at all. There's no real grumbles. I don't really see anything beneficial about grabbing one of the big brands over this. I really like that tool. I would definitely add that one to your toolkit.
Next up, the grinder. Now have a guess how much this one is. $79.99 again. This is packed full of features with multiple thread ports to rotate the handle positions around the head, a quick release blade guard, and we've even got a chuck key stored within the handle.
It feels a bit weird in the hand compared to the Makita. It's a bit stubby, bit head heavy. Not sure I like the ergonomics. And I do love my Makita grinder. Ignore the fact it hasn't got a guard on there at the moment. We'll pretend you didn't see that. I think for this to beat this one, it'd have to go some. Having said that, we've already been surprised by the impact driver against the Makita, so it could be a shock to us. We've got some big bolts in there. We're going to cut with both of these, and yeah, let's get a disc in there, see how they do.
Now, using our Makita first, we're going to use a timer with this and set a bit of a benchmark. I'll try to keep the pressure the same, and I'll try to be nice and accurate on the stopwatch, but let's see how quick the Makita can get through.
It's a little bit difficult one-handed. Let's see how our Erbauer does. I was a bit slow stopping the trigger there on that timer. It probably did that within 6 seconds. Now, there's a lot of variables, how hard you push, etc, etc. The Makita will ramp up the power as you push harder, so I wouldn't necessarily look at the time as a deciding factor. I don't like the ergonomics of the thing, and I don't like the button. As you turn it on, it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit noisy, it's a little bit less refined than the Makita, but look, it does a really good job at the price point of, again, $79.99. Now we've got one more tool to test, and it's one of the most expensive in the lineup, but there's one burning question here. How well are these tools going to stand the test of time? Well, they seem pretty well made. Now the Makitas, the DeWalts, Milwaukees of this world, they last many, many years, they stand abuse every single day from tradesmen. I can't really give you the answer with the Erbauer, but one thing to remember as a DIYer especially, you're probably not going to abuse them every day, and at the price point of pretty much always $79.99, you can replace them pretty easily by popping to Screwfix or B&Q and picking up a new one, rather than investing lots of money in Makita, Milwaukee or DeWalt. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments, but let's test that final tool.
And that is the SDS drill at $119.99, the most expensive of the V2 range that we're going to test today.
Straight away I'm fairly impressed. It's got anti-vibration, you can see that in the handle there. It actually moves to take out some of the vibration. We'll see how well that works when we test it. Of course it's got the usual functions, a good handle again with anti-vibration. I think the main thing with any SDS though is we need to see how powerful the thing is. Power is the biggest thing with an SDS. We want to see how good that motor is, whether we can chip away concrete, whether we can put an SDS bit through some concrete. They're the key things, but straight away, I mean, you can see my Makita is pretty beat up. The Makita has a rafter hook. We don't have that on the Erbauer, but then we're talking double the money. This one is 120, this is probably more like 240. I don't know the exact price of this, but it's probably something similar. I've clamped a 50mm piece of concrete slab to my bench here, and we're going to start with a 10mm SDS bit. Well, it didn't struggle. Let's try the Makita, see if it's any better. Yeah, the Makita is definitely stronger for this application. The price point, I think, shows. But let's use a breaker bit. Try and break some concrete off, see if this thing's strong enough for that.
Now this is always going to be one of the hardest tests for any SDS drill. Breaking concrete is not easy, so if it can do this, it really is a good tool for the money.
Again, it got the job done. Let's check the Makita. Yeah, the Makita is a lot stronger for sure, but look, it's double the money. Now, one thing to note, the V1 version of the Erbauer, I wasn't a massive fan of. I thought it was quite weak. This one does get the job done, especially for the money. So for 120 quid, which is half the money of the big brands, I think it's got to be a pass. I think you've got to add this one to the bag. Now, in my opinion, if you're a DIY and you're investing in a platform, these were a massive shock. They're really good. And that is, like I say, not sponsored. They've not sent the tools. I went and bought them. And now there's 4 standout tools for me. The Impact, the planer, I thought that was really good. I'd actually add this one to my toolkit because I'm after a new planer. The combi, really, really good solid combi. And just because of the improvements over the V1, the circular saw as well. If you're gonna pick up 4 core tools, go with these 4 to start off. The ones I weren't such a fan of was the sander, the jigsaw, and the Recip. I wouldn't add them ones to the bag. So what brand do you want me to test next? Ryobi? Parkside? Drop it in the comments, let me know, I'll buy them and I'll test them for you. Hit this video if you want to see some amazing little tools under 25 quid. I'll see you in the next one.